Okay, I've got a bunch of tips crammed into this one, so let's go ahead and jump right in. The first thing you'll notice is that I'm moving my pen up and down an imaginary line. The reason for this is it helps me to visualize the scale of my building and establish that first line. Now, in my reference sketch, I have a canopy that will disrupt this line, and placing a few marks will just let me know where that canopy will go so I can continue my line. Now, to get my proportions, you'll see me move my pen back and forth, dropping points on my paper. I'll work across the roofline and down the other side, and this method just visually helps me to get a sense of the shape of my building before actually committing to a line. As I make my way down the left side of the building, you'll notice I'll add some more canopy detail, and this will just help me draw out that rest of the canopy. Now, you might notice that I made a little mistake with the corner of the canopy, but I'll use another technique to correct that later. And now you're going to see me do something a little interesting. If you pay close attention, you'll see me bounce my pen around the paper almost like a dance. I'm miming as if I'm drawing out the rest of the detail. Again, this technique helps me to visualize the space and positioning of my elements that I have yet to draw. As I continue to draw out the primary shapes of my building, you'll notice that I'm relying heavily on dropping down reference points, and that will just help me know where to place the future lines. This will be particularly beneficial on the right side of the building where I have that soda machine breaking the bottom line. Now, as I trace back over the canopy, you will see me try to correct that issue I mentioned before. I'm going to use a little bit of extra pressure in my pen to draw a more confident, straight line across the bottom of my canopy, and this is just to make a better connection with that edge. Okay, now, at this point, the major shapes have been completed, and I'm ready to work on filling in the detail, and I have a trick for that. Although I will say, admittedly, I don't always use this trick, but it is a good starting point, and what I do is I start with the broadest detail first. That's the obvious detail that your eyes immediately get drawn to. Now, as a side note, you can use the back side of your fountain pen to draw a thinner line, and you'll see me make use of that technique. This works really well when adding certain types of detail. Once I'm done with the first pass of detail, I'm ready to move on to my secondary detail. This is the finer detail that stands out when you really look at your reference images. This could be the fine window detail, railings, plants, or signs. And after that comes the last detail that I look for, and that's usually the textures. For example, are there any interesting textures that you can easily capture with your pen that stand out? Maybe it's just the suggestion of a texture, but sometimes not every scene is going to have good textures that you can pull out. But if I think it looks interesting and might add a little something to my drawing, then I'll probably try to capture a little bit of that texture. Now, as you can see, I'm drawing out the lines of my stonework on the front of the building face here. Now, I'm using the back side of my pen again, and this is just to make sure that I'm getting a nice, thin line that won't compete with the other primary lines in my building. Learning to draw with different weighted lines can be a really useful technique in urban sketching. Now, once I have my sketch wrapped up, it's time to move over into coloring. Now, I do want to approach this a little differently, and I'm going to be working on layering my colors in hopes to add more interest to these quick sketches. As you can see, I start with my shadow layer first. I'm making use of the alcohol marker's ability to be layered. You'll notice that I go back over the same area multiple times, and that just gives me a darker tone. I'll be using this technique for the rest of my shading, and I'll even do the same when I move over to my colors. So essentially, I'm looking for the areas in the corners of my building or under the canopies to add a little bit of a deeper shade. And once I'm done with the shading, I'm going to introduce a color to my building. And I'll use that color to color the entire building, including the shaded areas. This just helps to blend those shadows with the rest of my building. Now, you may notice that I've been switching back and forth between the chisel tip and the brush tip on my markers. The nice thing about these Copic sketch brand markers is that they have both tips on them. The brush tip allows me to change the width quickly, but the chisel tip will give me a cleaner, straighter line and also a broader line if I need it. In a minute, you're about to see me make use of a special Copic marker. This one is the clear marker that has no color. Now, there are multiple techniques for using this marker, but I'm going to use it for one technique. And that is to push the green color in my canopy through the paper more so that it appears lighter in those areas that I've applied that clear color. Now, the trick here is not to overdo it because then you'll run into some unwanted issues. Now, to wrap up, I'm just going to add a little bit of a warmer tone to this area of my building facade, and that's it. That's my final sketch. I really hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments, and don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe.